where he was installed into his new center. He had his installation ceremony and gathering, and I know that was a joyous event because I heard from several people who were there, and it's so wonderful to know that he was honored in such a proper, wonderful way and celebrated. And so we continue that celebration and honoring, and I'm just so grateful you're here today, and look forward to listening to your life story again and words of wisdom that come through so beautifully. Please welcome Reverend Raymont Anderson.
Good morning. How are you all today?
Great. Wonderful.
I only believe 2 of you. Figure after several years of this, sooner or later the answer would come through loud and clear, so let's try this one more time. Because if you don't believe it, the universe isn't going to believe it. How are you today?
Great.
Much better, much better. So now carry that into Monday, tomorrow, remember that. So how many of us in the room were not alive during the 70s? Okay, so that's a great place to be, because it means potentially all of you might remember this television series, Kung Fu, starring David Carradine. Yes, thank you. So recently, I would say over the last maybe 3 months or so, I've been reflecting on my life. Those who were at the installation service ceremony last Saturday will remember hearing me say, have you ever woken up one morning and wondered, how did I get here? So over the last several months, I've really been thinking, this is the last place that I figured I would be. I figured I would be working for Hollywood, doing movie special effects, because that's what I wanted to do as a child. I never anticipated becoming a minister. So how did I get here? So I've been doing a lot of reflecting on things like, television shows that I watched as a child, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I've watched a recent documentary about him and reading a couple of the books about him. Sesame Street. I'm a product of Sesame Street. And then, first place I saw Morgan Freeman, The Electric Company. I'm thinking about all these things that I watched as a child. The Exorcist, thinking about all these things because it affected me. But one of the things that I've been thinking about is the Kung Fu television series. And there's one particular scene that I'm going to talk about that ties into our theme today of fear and this idea of how fear and, what's the other word? Error thinking blind us. So there's this scene, come with me if you will, where Master Po is sitting or standing beside a water fountain, and young Kwai Chang Caine is coming through with his broom and he's sweeping. And he looks over and Master Po says, "You are the new pupil. Come closer." And Kwai Chang walks closer and he sees the white eyes and he realizes Master Po is blind. And he says, "You have no eyes." "Ah, you think because I have no eyes I cannot see. Take your broom and strike me with it." And Caine is like, "But he's blind." "Do as I say, strike." So Caine swings, and Master Po does Kung Fu, wop, wop, boom, and sends him rolling. Again, strike. Caine gets up and he's like, "I know this blind man didn't just throw me." So he comes at him with more, and he gets thrown again. And Master Po takes the broom this time, and he throws it back to him, and Caine catches it. And he comes at him one more time, and he tosses him again. And then Master Po, as Caine gets up, Master Po says to him, "Never assume that because a man has no eyes, he cannot see. Close your eyes. What do you hear?" Caine closes his eyes and he says, "I hear the water. I hear the birds." He said, "Do you hear your own heartbeat?" "No." "Do you hear the grasshopper, which is at your feet?" Caine opens his eyes and he looks down and he sees a grasshopper right at his toes. Caine says, "Old man, how is it that you know these things?" "Young man, how is it that you do not?" That left such a profound impact on me growing up. where it always made me think, what is going on in the world that I have complete access to? But because of my filters, because of my error thinking, because of my fears, I am unable to see or hear or know the truth. So as a result of him not being able to hear the grasshopper, that became his nickname. Master Poe referred to him as Grasshopper for the entirety of life until Master Poe ended up getting killed. But the idea is, when and where am I blind? When I have eyes, and I don't even mean these, because these only see a certain amount of. I'm talking about the inner eye that we know is divine spirit that knows and sees and can do all things. When am I shutting that down? So are you willing to go to school with me for a moment today? Okay, I got a couple of questions for you. You shouldn't have answered so quickly. You don't know what the questions are. So, ready?
Yes.
Is ignorance bliss? Oh. Is it better to not know and to go on living from this not knowingness, which is in a sense a form of blindness? What does it mean to be blind? Think about it for a second. What does it mean to be blind? And once again, not blind in the physical sense, but blind in the metaphysical sense. How does blindness show up to one who is spiritually blind? How in our lives, when in our lives, where in our lives are we spiritually blind? And what does that even mean, to be spiritually blind? It means thinking that karma's you fill in the blank. Because see, superstition is an amazing tool that blinds us. And we, even though we are metaphysicians, we are in this spiritual thing, new thought, we still carry a lot of superstitious thinking. Anytime we think of, is there a cosmic 2x4? Because some people use that phrase, the cosmic 2x4, that if you don't do what is yours to do, you're not on your path, you're not doing what God wants you to do, then the universe is going to get you with that cosmic 2x4. How's that any different than an anthropomorphic God sitting on a throne in heaven waiting to punish you and send you to hell? I don't care what you call it, tomato, tomato, potato, potato, cosmic 2x4 or the wrath of God, it's the same thing. And anytime we are separating ourselves through language, it's based upon a thought, connected to a feeling. And so we are going to put out into the universe, into that law that Irina spoke about, the law that always says yes. We are putting into the law this error thinking, and the universe says, yep, here's more of that very thing that you are now affirming and declaring. So if we believe in an anthropomorphic God that is punishing us, it is not that which is punishing us. It is us who are punishing ourselves by believing in it punishing us. The Buddha said, or it is said that the Buddha said, you are not punished for your anger, you are punished by your anger. Your anger, the thing that we are holding on to, the error thinking is what's punishing us. So where in our lives are we blind? We turn on the news. Do we put the blinders on because we are unable or unwilling to see God in another on the news? And you know what I'm talking about. And I understand that there are frustrations that come. I understand that. But at some point, if we are going to be about this teaching, at some point, we've got to put our money where our mouth is. And if we're going to say we believe in, what did Irina say? God, infinite abundance. Then it doesn't matter how much is or how much is not in our bank account. We know that money is not money, but money is a demonstration of, a concrete form of energy that is the divine. And that I understand that if I plant one seed, one apple seed into the soil, and the soil says yes and receives it, how many apples are in that seed? More apples than can ever be counted. The potential of that one seed, billions and billions of potential apple trees and apples, on and on and on. How is that seed any different than 1 penny? Because 1 penny is not simply a simple coin, copper coin. It is a form of energy that is no different than that seed. Because there are people who can multiply money in the same way nature multiplies food, lettuce, carrots, potatoes. But see, we can't get out of our own way. We are afraid of so many things. For example, let me ask, you don't have to answer, but think to yourself and be honest. Do we believe that prayer works? Ask self, do I believe that prayer works? Do I believe that the prayer that Irina spoke about, this spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, speaking and declaring the truth, do I believe that prayer works? Because if I do, and I believe it to the degree that she was speaking it, then I should be praying every day. I should be enlisting someone to pray with me or for me every day. Because one of the things we say in religious science, if anybody here familiar with the Science of Mind magazine? Okay, in the front of the magazine it says the We Believes, right? And way down near the bottom, it's one of the We Believes. It says, we believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of this mind. That mind being God's mind. That mind being there is only one mind. That mind is infinite. It is forever. It is powerful. It is my mind now. And we believe in the healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of this mind. This mind being my mind. That when I am in alignment with that one mind, when I am in alignment with God, the healing anatomy of prayer, Ernest Holmes says, God in me, as me, is me. God in me, as me, is me. I believe in the healing power of this mind, God's mind, my mind, now, that can heal the sick and control conditions. Conditions like what? Poverty. Prayer can heal it. Racism. Prayer can heal it. Scarcity and lack. Prayer can heal it. Global war. Prayer can heal it. What situation is there that exists that God cannot transform, transcend, transmogrify, transmute? None. And we are that which God is in human form. The Word made flesh. Each and every one of us. But the error thinking is, yeah, but, that's just me. You know, I'm still a sinner. I still make mistakes. Mistakes don't mean a diddly squat. Can I say diddly squat? Mistakes mean nothing. Mistake simply means, get on your marks, get ready. Oh, it's a false start. Okay, let's do it again. That's all it is. Anybody in here familiar with acting? Stage, not stage, film or television. You know, there's this thing where the director will say, action. You know, the clapboard. And if an actor or someone makes a mistake, cut, reset, do it again. Why do we have this idea that when we make a mistake, it is the end of the world, it is the apocalypse? Ah, for I have balanced my checkbook incorrectly. The end of the world is upon us. A check bounce, dear God, no, why? Why do we have this idea that when we make a mistake, It is the end of the world. Because we believe in error thinking. We have been conditioned to believe by loving and wonderful parents and teachers, by an educational system and a sociological system. Yes, because we don't like making mistakes. And yes, it ties into a religious ideology that says the wages of sin are death. Ooh, God only knows I don't want to mess up and die. So we avoid it. We avoid it like it's the plague. Rather than engaging life to make as many mistakes as possible. No, I'm not saying go make a parachute and be like, well, if I fold it wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about that kind of mistake. That's just foolishness. But I'm talking about you want to write a book. Risk it. You want to teach a workshop. Risk it. You want to be a practitioner, licensed. You want to be a minister. You want to be a parent. You want to love and enjoy your life. Then risk. Take the leap of faith and understand. And the funny thing is, one of the biggest, greatest, ultimate fears that we have is what? The one that transcends and is the biggest one of all of them. Death. Fear of death. Fear of death. That is our ultimate fear. And this is where it really gets woo. Because if we're going to say we believe in this teaching, and this is uncomfortable. Ooh. If we're going to say we believe in this teaching, and we're going to say we believe that God is all there is, and that which God is cannot die, and that which God is showing up in, through, and as each and every one of us, then it means that which you are cannot die. Just because you give up this meat suit, you don't die. You had a car, the car no longer works. You want to trade it in, boom, it's gone. But you continue. That which you are. And one of the things it also says, Declaration of Principles, that we believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity. Rewind. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. Forever and ever. Remember that seed? Forever and ever multiplying. Forever and ever growing. Forever and ever feeding and nourishing. We are no different. But because we buy into the lie, because we believe in the myth of death, because we are superstitious about death, because we are superstitious about mistakes, because we are superstitious about even this thing that we call our faith, because we buy into the superstition of it, we buy into because we won't speak the truth for fear that we will be rejected. I'm not going to tell my family that I do this, religious science. Because I don't want them to think I'm, in a cult or something. So I'm not going to tell them. Yeah, I go to church every Sunday. Where do you go to church? Oh, it's too far for you. No, but I'm saying, where do you go? Somewhere in Virginia. Well, can I stop by? It's too far. Don't worry about it. Keep going where you go. We see things on the news, and rather than, or we'll be with a friend in a restaurant, and they'll start to go into wanting to commiserate. Oh, how often do we talk about the same old, same old? How many phrases do we have? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Superstitious thinking. That's superstition. Because if we're going to talk about truth, and truth being that which God is, then it's not about, because God is infinite abundance. God is rich. God cannot be poor. So what we are talking about is the effect of how rich and poor show up in a world of effects based upon error thinking. And the more of us dare to, anybody watch anything on the CW? Anybody know what the CW is? It's a television network like NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox. It's the CW. I don't remember what it stands for, so don't ask me. Just trust me. But things like, what I watch on there are things like The Flash, Green Arrow. It's the superhero nerd in me. I watch the superhero stuff on there, right? And so, Black Lightning, like I'm watching. For me, that's not what it is, but I'll take it. And they have this tagline, dare to defy. I love it. Dare to defy. So what I'm doing right now in my mind is dare to see. Dare to vision. Even when there is apparent darkness around me. Dare to be audacious enough, bold enough to know there is a light. And even if for some reason I can't see that light, I know there's light here. And if I'm walking from that place that knows that which God is, I am. That which God is, I am. And anything that shows up in opposition to that which I know is love must fade away. Anything that shows up in opposition to oneness must fade away. Anything that shows up in opposition to unity and abundance must fade away. Anything that shows up in opposition to health and wellness must fade away. Anything that shows up that tells me that God is not what God is must fade away. And that includes anything that shows up to tell me that I am anything less than what I know that I am, as the infinite power of the universe showing up in this 5'2", 180-ish pound frame. God is all there is. All there is. Right where you are sitting. And anything that shows up to opposition that idea, that knowingness, when we speak the truth about it, outwardly or inwardly, doesn't matter. It is the word of God speaking. In the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was God, was with God, and showed up. God said, let there be light, and there was. Sit in your doctor's office and let the doctor tell you something and say, let there be light, and there will be. Let there be health, and there will be. Let there be love, and there will be. Because until we are willing to defy what the world of effects is showing us, with war and pestilence and disease and poverty and all of these things, corrupt politicians and all of these things, racism and all of these things, sexism and all of these things, until we are willing to defy in thought, word, and deed, it will continue just like any garden until we are willing to remove the weeds that are choking out the plants, that are choking out the vegetables, that are robbing the carrots of their nutrients, until we are willing to defy and know the truth and say, not in my garden, grow somewhere else. Not in my garden, grow somewhere else. Until we are willing to do that, it will continue to multiply and grow. We will continue to walk around, the blind leading the blind. Did you hear what just happened in the White House? Oh. Did you hear what just happened down the street? Oh. Did you hear what just happened in our board meeting? Oh. Did you hear what the doctor just told me? Oh. We'll continue to live based on, did you hear what? Rather than, do you know what? So it comes down to being, what are we willing to know for ourselves? Because that's where it's got to start. Emma Curtis Hopkins says, the God that I know starts here. I can only know God to the degree that I know and understand myself as that God. That's why when we say namaste, namaste, that which is divine in me sees and acknowledges and recognizes itself in you. But if I cannot connect to and see where I am divine, then it's a nice greeting. Namaste, Melinda. It's a nice greeting, and it's cute, and it's, it's a sharing of, love and fellowship and family, but it doesn't mean what it can mean. It means hello. When it could mean, I see you. I know you. Because that which I am connects. And if I can't connect to that, if I can't know that, namaste, Melinda. Where is she? Then I'm walking around wondering. I'm walking around not acknowledging. I'm walking around too afraid to defy. I've chosen to accept the world of effects. And I don't know when for me that it started. Don't know if it was when my father got diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. I don't know if it was the first or second or third time that I was molested or raped. I have no idea when it started for me. But I know somewhere in my life, I said no. So when the doctor told me there was a tumor there and that I would never be able to make a fist, I said no. When the doctor said we have to reconstruct your ACL and you'll never be able to do another squat, something said no. When the colonoscopy doctor recently told me that I had to find a surgeon because I had to have some kind of surgery, something in me said, I hear you, but no. And even when I look around the world and I see what's happening, I say no. Because if I'm not willing to defy, if I'm not willing to know that there is a better way, if I'm not willing to know that there is a divine way, then it's business as usual. We are a bunch of superstitious folks gathering on Sunday to do superstitious things. And the world will go to hell in a handbasket because on some level that's what we believe. So it comes down to how serious are we going to be about this thing called truth, about this thing called love, about this thing called life. Because there is only one life. And that life is forever. It is infinite. It is powerful. It is abundant. It is magical. It is laughter. And that life is your life right now. Let's pray. Let's anchor ourselves and allow our bodies to simply breathe, to inhale and exhale, to not focus or worry about, am I breathing right, but simply to allow your body to breathe. And as we breathe, allow our consciousness to acknowledge and recognize that we are not breathing ourselves, but that the infinite, that is God, the universe, is breathing itself as us. We do not worry where the last breath went or where the next breath will come from. We simply surrender and breathe. And so from this place of allowing the breath, surrendering to the breath, I speak what I know. I know that love, life, the one mind, the thing itself, by whatever name it is called, that which God is all there is. And knowing that it is all there is, what I know is that it must be right here, right now, speaking in, through, and as me about itself. And so what it is saying about itself is that it is health in expression. It is love in expression. It is unity. It is magnificence. It is abundance, wealth, opulence. Showing up right here, right now. In, through, with, and as each and every one of us. As we surrender, as we allow. God, being all there is showing up as world peace. Is showing up as a world that works for the highest and best of all. Is showing up as physical, emotional, mental health and well-being. It is showing up as more than enough money to share and to care and to give and receive. It is showing up as all that we allow ourselves to receive. Just as the Declaration of Principles says, we believe that heaven is within and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. So in this moment, we become conscious that heaven is right here, right now. We become conscious of love being right here, right now. Conscious of the infinite power of the I am right here, right now. So in gratitude, I speak this word because I know it is already so. In gratitude, I speak this word because I am speaking that which is truth. In gratitude, I speak this word and place it into the law that says yes, has said yes, is saying yes, and will forever say yes to itself. Yes, I am whole. Yes, I am perfect. Yes, I am complete. Yes, that which I am, you are. Om Tat Sat. I am that I am. Tat Tavam Asi. Yes, you are it. I place it into the law because the law knows, the law receives, and the law gives back unto me as I have spoken, full and overflowing. So right here, right now, that wholeness, that perfection, and that oneness, that peace, that health, that joy, that abundance is right here in us, with us, and moving through us. And because we acknowledge this, because we receive it, because we dare to defy anything that is error thinking, together we affirm what we know is by saying, and so it is. Amen.